Wake up, man. Hey, good morning. It is Sunday. It's a cold Sunday morning here in Northeast Ohio. TK, man, I hope you're staying warm over there. Anyway, guys, listen, welcome to the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show. Today, it's TK and I. We're going to steer the ship. Ryan Mosser he's out with some logistical concerns. We're thinking about our buddy. Because after all, man, Ryan,
brother.
yeah, Ryan,
Can't
you're
wait
still
to get you back.
Ryan, you're still our Pookie, buddy. So we're thinking about you. We hope you're doing well, man. All right, guys, we have a pretty good show for you today. Obviously, we're going to preview the Week 10 matchup between the Browns and the New York Jets, whoever the Jets are anymore. We don't know who's even on the roster anymore. I'm not sure. Maybe they don't know. We don't know. A huge exodus at the trade deadline for the Jets. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Obviously, we will talk about there are just some big happenings right now around just, the Browns, I guess, in general. We'll talk about some of those. There's some news with Paul DePodesta, some news with Kevin Stefanski, Tommy Rees. We got all kinds of stuff going on. But listen, guys, let's get right to it because I'm sure you know by now, no more Moneyball in Berea, right? Paul DePodesta is out as the Browns chief strategy officer. Finally, TK says. The Browns were 56, 99, and 1 during his tenure. TK, you and I talked about it a little bit yesterday on the legal formation. That record actually it was better than I thought. I was a little bit surprised.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Because you think, he was here for obviously 1-31. And obviously, we had to, figure out, how we were going to get to the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
So, to hear that we actually won over 50 games with him as the chief strategist of our front office department is very, very alarming to me. But obviously, still very inept. So, it's the reason why he's leaving.
Yeah, well, who knows why he's leaving? I had some speculation. I guess it would be there's nothing concrete to this at all. But I got it. First of all, we talked a little bit about it yesterday again on illegal formation. We don't really know what Paul DePodesta was responsible for while he was here for almost a decade. You see the title there, Chief Strategy Officer. That could be anything. That could be strategy on the field, strategy in the locker room, strategy financially. I don't know. It could be maybe he's got a strategy for what they feed these guys before and after games. I have no idea. We just don't know what he did. Daryl Ryder was on 92.3 The Fan the other day. And we heard a little bit from him. I guess he alluded to the fact that it seemed like maybe DePodesta was there to act as an advisor to the Haslams. And I almost said to curb Jimmy Haslam's spending, but that's not the word I'm looking for. I think just maybe to make sure that they spent the money efficiently or that they didn't overspend, whatever. I'd say that was probably a failure when you think about the almost $250 million spent on a quarterback who played, I don't know, like 17 quarters in a Browns jersey, and maybe 2 or 3 of them were pretty okay. And aside from all the off the field stuff, I just, if that was Paul DePodesta's major mark, the 56, 99, and 1, and the quarterback search that ended up in Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield, you'd have to say that almost 10 years here was a failure, no?
Say it again, boss.
I just said that if his lasting marks are 56, 99, and 1, and the quarterback, debacle, search thing, whatever you want to call that, that brought in Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield, if those are his 2 lasting marks on his tenure, including the 1-31 stretch, you'd have to say that tenure was a failure, right?
Oh, yeah, this was a long time coming. To be honest, I think somewhere between, I want to say, 2021 and 2022, we were honestly still surprised to find out that he was still a part of the Browns organization. And then, moving forward, he's still here. What exactly has he done? What exactly have we done since he's been in the building? I mean, I just didn't understand it. It was one of the biggest mysteries in the NFL. You got other teams asking us, what is exactly this guy's MO with your franchise? Like, why is he there?
Yeah.
Why is this baseball executive from Harvard in charge of running your football team? I mean, it was really just hard to explain, and no one explained it to us at all. I don't even think they tried to, but
No.
yeah, and now we're here almost 10 years later. It's just now leaving, so
Yeah.
it was definitely a wild ride, I would say.
Well, you know that he wouldn't sign off on his actual name and likeness being used in the Moneyball movie, but Jonah Hill did represent the character that I guess uh, would have been like an amalgamation of how writers and directors and whoever saw Paul DePodesta in the whole Moneyball saga. He was the assistant to the GM to Billy Beane in Oakland for the whole Moneyball era in Oakland, right? So hence the movie Moneyball. Um, I guess he didn't love how he was portrayed in the movie or how his character was portrayed in the movie, whatever. So he didn't want his name used. But I saw a really funny comment on social media this week that someone said that Jonah Hill probably could have done a better job over the last 9.5, almost 10 years. Uh, it made me chuckle a little bit. Maybe it could have. I don't know. We'll never know. But I wanted to ask you one question, and we're going to get to. By the way, I'm excited for this. We have Double A's take on the Paul DePodesta saga or the situation, whatever you want to call it. We'll get to that in just a minute. But I did want to ask you: do you think that this? And again, this is completely reckless on my part. I have no concrete information. Obviously, I have no information. I have no insight. I don't have a guy, right? But I just wonder if you wonder why now? Why now for DePodesta? Why would he leave now in the middle of a season? He didn't even stick around to get his 100th loss of his tenure. I mean, that's sad, right? We could have had another parade. Whatever that, it's neither here nor there, but you wonder if Haslam maybe didn't push him out, but maybe urged him to start looking for other employment opportunities. I mean, for executives like this, there's always something out there, right? So he's leaving to be the Rockies, the head of baseball operations, by the way. I didn't mention that. Probably should have said that. That's important. So again, after a rocky tenure, hey, see what I did? He'll be gone. He's going back to baseball, which a lot of people are like, why is the baseball guy analyzing football stuff anyway? What is he even analyzing? Is he analyzing, again, we don't know. Talent? We have no idea what he did. But do you think, like I said, I will get back to my question. Do you think Jimmy Haslam, maybe kind of not pushed him out the door, but maybe ushered him on in an attempt to, I don't know, to maybe be on his own for a possible coach, head coach or GM search? Because you kind of think that, the way that Paul DePodesta really kind of lobbied for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry to be here is kind of a package deal. You would have to think that since like the head of the snake is gone, like the rest of I just don't see Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry surviving this. Do you? I don't know. I mean, I guess my question is, what do you think this leads to? Do you think this signifies a head coach search or no?
To be quite honest, I'm not sure what it signifies. I really don't know what to think of anything that the Browns do front office wise, signifying anything. I really don't know what the next step is going to be, if we are ready to name this another rebuild or not, or if we somehow, some way believe that we have some type of chance to build some type of a quick team for next year to be able to try to compete for a playoff spot or some sort. We really don't know what's going on anymore, but it's definitely looking more of a rebuild. So a head coach search may be imminent. I'm probably just going to say, go ahead and just say yeah for the better judgment for the future. But I honestly don't think that anyone listens to Jimmy Haslam within the building after what happened in 2014. You know, after he paid a scout $100,000 to give him information on the 2014 NFL quarterback draft and who was the most NFL ready quarterback out of all of them, only for him to turn down the advice and take the advice of the homeless guy on the street. So, I really don't think they care to listen to too much of what he has to say, because not a lot of it makes any sense. So now it's just
Yeah.
For me, it's just wait and see. I don't know what's going on. I can't put my finger on any of this right now.
Yeah, it's fair. I think, yeah, it's just so hard. Like you said, it's hard to know what the Browns are going to do. Um, it's hard to know what Jimmy Haslam's going to do. He's a total wild card, like a Jerry Jones type of character almost. But let's we talked about getting Double A's take on this. Let's get a Double A's take on this real quick. Let's watch that video.
If you score more points than the other team by the end of the fourth quarter, usually you win the game. I'm gonna mess with y'all. I heard that from some guy named Magic Johnson on Twitter. But happy Browns Sunday, and yes, it's only happy because the Browns might actually win today. Or is that happy? You know, I'm not here to discourage, wins and losses. You know, that's the last thing you should do. I mean, wins feel good. Wins feel phenomenal. It's a boost for the week when you get a W. But what if I told you there was an open position and I go and the owner says, what is your 10-year plan? 10 years? I don't even know what I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes. But what's your 10-year plan? And I told you, we'll bottom out, we'll get a rookie quarterback, we'll build a roster, we'll win a playoff game, and then we'll trade away that rookie quarterback for a much more expensive pre-owned quarterback with a CarMax history that we didn't check thoroughly. Even though we did extensive research, we didn't check the CarMax history. And I'm going to give you a record of 56, 99, and 1. That's the strategy. I just laid out the strategy. Last week, the last few days, Paul DePodesta took the new job with the Colorado Rockies, and this is probably one of the best days of Browns history. I'm not even joking. Imagine a 10-year plan where you don't even get to leave home, and you leave the team worse than what you inherited as a chief strategy officer. And I don't want to hear people, or it's like, oh, he didn't make the final calls on this, and that. Kevin Stefanski has to answer everything. Andrew Berry at times answers to everything. And this guy stays at home in San Diego on a Zoom call. Good riddance. Bye-bye, Moneyball. You can go. Forget it. You sucked. So hopefully, the Browns could do what the rest of the football teams do and actually make sense, actually bring in people who know what they're doing in the game of football.
Yeah, I mean, Double A, I think nailed it. You've got to bring in some football people, right? And I guess the Browns have been really, really bad at that. Even when we thought they were good, John Dorsey, Mike Holmgren, I mean, guys that have track records, pedigrees, as far as the NFL goes, still couldn't get it turned around. And it's frustrating to see because you think like the NFL is built for parity, right? The NFL is built to be able to recover from a 1-31 stretch, right? And maybe, back then there were 16 games. Maybe back then win 10 games, right? Win 9, 10, 11 games, get to the playoffs, maybe make a little bit of noise, build something for 3 or 4 or 5 years, have a little bit of a window. I'm not saying, to come back from 1-31 and build the Patriots
dynasty.
That's how
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's ideally.
At least.
That's how at least it's that's how it's suggested to be, right? It hasn't been that way for the Browns. It's been a little bit unfortunate. And we want to remind you, we want to thank you if you're watching us on Twitter right now. Please, like the show, retweet our show so we can get as many people watching and interacting, and let us know what your opinion is on the Paul DePodesta, I don't know, saga, tenure, situation, whatever you want to call it. Was it a failure? Was it worth all the drama for 10 years of DePodesta maybe hitting Berea 11 times? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many times he was there. I have no idea. But 56, 99, and 1 is what we have to show for it. A 1-31 stretch. Hugh Jackson telling us to trust him when it comes to quarterbacks, and we were looking at Cody Kessler out there. We've seen a whole lot of
now
different.
we're looking at his left-handed doppelganger.
I mean, I think Kessler had a couple inches on Gabriel, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. Whatever. Like I said, we appreciate you tuning in this morning. We know you could be doing a million other things. So to be sitting around on your phone and your laptop, whatever, on your TV, watching us, we really, really appreciate that. So again, thank you for being with us this morning. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just move on to the other news from Browns land, right? We got more news, more exciting news. So Kevin Stefanski has announced, or did announce earlier this week, that he is out as the play caller. He's not the offensive play caller anymore. He's going to act as, I'm assuming he's going to be in the CEO, head coach, whatever role, and just kind of sit back and overlook things and hopefully, I don't know, clock management, things like that, personnel, whatever. I don't know what he's going to do. Don't know what he does either. I'm not sure. Again, we've seen what's going on over the last couple of years. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski does. 2 Coach of the Year awards, but what have you done for me lately, right? So Tommy Rees is in. Tommy Rees is going to be the play caller. He's, I don't know. I mean, TK, I want to be excited about this. I want to be excited about the change, but the offense is still the offense, right? Maybe Rees is kind of rumored to possibly be incorporating more of a little bit of a college feel. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means there's we're going to see some RPO stuff. We're going to roll Gabriel out of the pocket to create throwing angles and
see our offensive players actually enjoy being on the field again.
Maybe that. How do they respond to Tommy Rees? We don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, is this going to change anything?
You know what? I really think this game is going to be the game where I think he tests Dylan Gabriel a lot. I think he's going to want to work a lot of the intermediate stuff. He's definitely going to want to get some deep shots in there. Let's test that arm and see how good it is exactly. Let's see exactly how much of the playbook that we can use. Do we need to make a quarterback change, or are we just fine? Maybe we just need to make a couple of adjustments here or there and just say, hey, we have a solid player here. We know we could this much of the playbook, whether it's all the playbook, a majority of the playbook, maybe just a portion, and we can move forward instead of just having this inquiry every single week about what we are going to do behind center. Because this has got to stop at some point. You would hope that this will be the game to be like, okay, maybe we can just go ahead on continue with this kid's development. We don't have to continue to question anything. He's a young player. This is only his 5th professional game at full length. So let's give this kid some grace. He's actually showing us that he has something to bring to the table, as he has brought very little so far. But we'll see later today. We will see.
We will see. And I one more really, really quick question for you, just regarding the change from Stefanski to Rees. Do you think this makes it less likely that we'll see Shedeur Sanders either start a game or play in a game? Because you change the offensive play caller. That already does so much to the offensive line, to the timing of just trying to get the quarterback in step with the receivers, which has been an issue all season. And even going back to last year, it was a little bit of an issue here and there. Certain guys on the field. When Jameis Winston was out there, we looked great. He threw some picks, but he moved the ball. We could push the ball downfield. He could throw the ball downfield. Yeah, the deep ball was the thing, right? Judy made some catches. We looked pretty good at times. This year, it's been an absolute disaster. Really, I mean, there's no other way to. It's just been a disaster. So now, I mean, do you throw a third quarterback into this mix? Whether it's Bailey Zappi, but at least Zappi has some NFL experience. I mean, is this a thing that you want Shedeur Sanders to walk into and start? I mean, do you think it's? I guess to get back to my simple question, do you think it's less likely now that we'll see Sanders on the field this year?
Actually, no, I do not think it is less likely that we will see him. I do believe that we'll see him at some point in time, whether that would be after a bad performance today or maybe a little bit later on in the season. I think a lot of people were saying around the building that the idea was to give him somewhere around the last 3 to 4 games of the season, maybe get some more meaningful snaps during those games and possibly see what he could do there. But a bad performance against the 1-7 clearly rebuilding New York Jets would probably
probably spark some speculation that, hey, maybe we should throw 12 out there and see what we have for next year. This may not necessarily be the end for Dylan Gabriel, but it is definitely a crossroads, and we need to cross it somehow, and possibly maybe with a different starter if he doesn't perform up to stuff today.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You mentioned the Jets. We got to talk about the Jets, right? And just their whole personnel situation right now. Listen, I can't sing, but I'm going to sing, right? The Jets are in that because I'm leaving in a Jets trade, right? And that's like, wait, what the heck did they get back again? So the Jets traded everybody on the defense, right? Quinn Williams is gone. Sauce Gardner's gone. Gardner went to the Colts. Williams to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are desperately trying to stop the run. They need something in there, right? So, okay, those guys are gone, right? 2 All-Pros, the 2 guys that you thought they could build around. I think Quinn Williams is on like a $96 million contract. Sauce Gardner just signed a 4-year, $120 million contract.
4 years, $120 million.
Yeah, in June or July. So they were the cornerstones, right? Along with Garrett Wilson. Those 3 were like those were the foundation players. And now 2 of those 3 guys are gone. And there was speculation that they might have been looking to move Garrett Wilson. That didn't happen. Ultimately, the deadline still could happen in the offseason. We don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea.
Not sure at all.
Yeah. So what did they get back? The Jets now have what? They have 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. They have 3 first-round picks in 2027. So I'm going to go out of order a little bit. We were going to talk, just speaking of trades and speaking of picks and, first rounds and things and people making picks. TK, whose situation would you rather be in right now? Would you rather be in the Browns situation moving forward or the Jets situation moving forward with 5 first-round picks over the next few years? And listen, it's unlikely they're going to use all those picks on players. Okay, that's very unlikely. To all the signing bonus, the financial stuff is probably not going to work out. But man, think of the packages they can put together to go up and get guys like, I don't know, Jeremiah Smith next year, maybe Fernando Mendoza this year. I mean, they could look to add a quarterback through free agency, but it's likely that maybe they would draft a guy that needs some defensive line help now. But man, they can put some packages together to go get some guys. So who would you rather be? Rather be the Jets or the Browns right now?
To be honest, I don't know why it took me so long, but I had to think about this. And to be quite honest, I think the Jets are in fabulous position right now. I think multiple first-round picks next year, multiple second-round picks as well. They have 3 first-round picks in 2027. That draft could very well be amazing. Now, whether or not they pull the trigger on Fernando Mendoza next April will remain to be seen. Maybe they want Archie in 2027. Maybe they just want to go full speed ahead with the young kid from Indiana. I'm not sure. But they have a plethora of draft capital to go through. And I really expect these next 2 drafts for the New York Jets to be absolutely elite. Darren Mucci, their new general manager, is having a fantastic year so far as controlling the draft assets and being able to construct this roster into the way that Aaron and Glenn and the coaching staff are looking to build in that direction. Now, it's not a finished product in the least bit, but to be able to get so much capital from so many different teams and to be able to stack onto that for multiple years to come, it is absolutely brilliant. I love the quick way that they moved about this, and it's going to set them up for a brilliant future. I hope they take full advantage of it because it's all right there. It is all right there for you to line up. You guys wouldn't have to do anything else, either in the off season or coming up to the beginning of the season next year. You guys really wouldn't have to do anything, and you guys would have excellent position to build your team. You got to remember they have over $100 million in cap space for next year too. So you don't have to focus just on the draft. You can build this team through free agency as well. You can look for that upgrade at receiver, that upgrade for the interior of the offensive line, because you have your 2 tackles in the future, and Olamuyiwa Fashanu and Armand Membu have been absolutely excellent for the New York Jets this season. So you can go a myriad of ways to rebuilding this roster back at the condition very quickly, much like the Detroit Lions did with Dan Campbell. And Aaron Glenn happens to be a Dan Gamble disciple. He's part of that coaching tree. So yeah, I definitely think they're going to take that blueprint and try to apply it to their own franchise. It's going to be a heck of a next couple of years for the New York Jets. Please believe.
Yeah. Does that mean that they're gonna bite some kneecaps over there, or is that what does that mean for the Dan? Anyway, that's one of my favorite things Dan Campbell's ever said. By the way,
An
biting
ankle or two,
kneecaps.
brother. They might.
Hey, whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do, right? Shins, I don't care. Calf muscles, whatever. Yeah, it gets rowdy out there. So yeah, I don't know. I think I think I'd rather be in the Jets situation. And you could say the Browns acted quickly and decisively, because I started to be like, man, at least how nice would it be to have a front office that acts quickly and decisively and moves toward a direction, with these type of things. And you could say the Browns did that with the Deshaun Watson thing, but the difference is the Jets are stacking assets. The Browns gave all their assets away and gambled on a player who hadn't played in nearly 2 seasons, and had all the off the field stuff, and seemingly didn't have the support of really almost anybody within that Houston Texans franchise. So I don't know. I mean, that just seems like, yeah, both actions were quick and decisive, but they took a franchise, or they're taking a franchise in 2 completely different directions. So I don't know. I don't know what the Jets are going to do with 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons. I would imagine they'll package 2 together next year and go up a little bit further in the draft and get a 1 or a 2 or something, right?
Believe it or not, I've heard a couple rumors, outside of, Jet space or anything like that. They're interested in possibly trading for Joe Burrow next season. I hear that he may possibly be on the move. I know that sounds crazy. The Brown administration doesn't need that, not in the least bit. They need to continue to put butts in seats, and Joe Shiesty is the man who does exactly that. So I don't think they would entertain it that much, but I do believe that the New York Jets will be bold enough to come up with some type of mind-blowing offer to the Cincinnati Bengals and say, hey, you guys haven't done the best job of protecting Joe Burrow. Let us get a crack at that. And so
listen,
I don't see that being far-fetched at all for them, especially with them wanting to turn the page as quickly as possible. They need this rebuild to be sustainable. They needed to be quick. They needed to be quick, honestly, especially if Aaron Glenn wants to keep his job. So anything to get the max value out of this rebuild is going to be huge.
Yeah, listen, offering the Bengals the world for Joe Burrow sounds great in theory, but first round picks with the Bengals. If the Bengals didn't have the propensity to struggle to sign their first round picks, I'd say that might sound exciting if you're a Bengals fan. But when you hear that, you have to go, oh no, we're going to draft a guy we might not even be able to sign. I mean, the Bengals have had some issues in the last couple of seasons with that. So I don't know. We'll see. I can't imagine letting all your defense go, putting all that money, if you're the Bengals, into your offense, and then just trading Joe Burrow away for a couple of picks and starting over. But we'll see. You never know. I think the Jets might be more likely to bring in a guy like I don't know, a Kyler Murray for a stopgap if they draft a quarterback and bring in an established guy who hasn't won a ton in the NFL, but at least he's played a little bit in the NFL and has some positive traits, some upside, I guess.
Now, see, I also heard that as well. Like, because I like anyone that has a brainstem and that has been watching the NFL for the past few weeks. Anyone can tell you that Kyler Murray's future with the Arizona Cardinals is over. The Jets very well could be in the mix for a quarterback, like Kyler Murray, but I definitely think they want to go more of a pocket passer. Okay. They're definitely going to go for Joe Burrow first.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's definitely going to be the first target.
Might as well try.
If that fails, which I expect it to, Kyler Murray could at least deserve a look. I do understand that Jacoby Brissett has thoroughly outplayed him this season. As Arizona starter, which is why they're going forward with him now. So now, when I think about it, it's like, okay, we have all this draft capital here in Gotham City. Should we just take the young quarterback? And are we going to keep Tanner Engstrom as the OC? Are we going to add to the offensive staff? Maybe get a quarterback coach in there? I don't know.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of questions to be answered, and we really can't answer those questions right now. It's way too early.
Yeah, it's way too early. Listen, Hugh Jackson's available if they want the quarterback whisperer in there.
Ooh,
We talked about it. I hate that term. I hate that. I'm right with you on that, man. And listen, also speaking of trades, because we talked about the Jets completely decimating that defense. Listen, if Dylan Gabriel doesn't find a way to eat today, TK, would it be time to move on from him, or at least not as a roster member, but as a starting quarterback in the NFL? I mean, do you think if he struggles today to throw the ball, like you said, even if it's just the intermediate routes? I mean, it can't be all throws to the flats and screen passes today, right? And slants. Like you got to push the ball downfield a little bit, 15, 20 yards downfield, just a little bit, please, a little bit. If he's not able to do that today against this Jets defense, you'd have to think that the Browns might have to. They might have no choice but to move on from him as a starting quarterback. No.
Look, as much as I hate to say this, there is a lot of pressure on this young man right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really not even due to the media or fan base or anything like that. It's just, listen, this roster, this was thought out to be a Super Bowl contending defense.
Yeah.
And now when you have a record of 2-6 and you have the possibility of being 2-7, it just becomes a mess. Like, what exactly are we doing here? I understand that we don't necessarily have the personnel. The offensive line started to fall apart. We have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL by far. But it's just, son, we need you to make something happen for us. And I feel so bad for the young man because I know he's trying. I know he's such a hard worker. This kid went to school for 6 years. He didn't go there for nothing. He played for UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon. The kid has something in him. I hope he has a good day today. I do.
Yeah.
Like I said,
nothing personal against him. Yeah, nothing personal at all.
I
Yeah.
really don't want the year-long quarterback competitions, this, that, and the other. Guys, can we please just put it together? Please.
Yeah, please. Like you said, the quarterback competition is getting so old. I'm tired of, like, training camp should be a time where, I mean, it can't be for every team, but it feels like it should be a time where you're really excited for your team, right? Like OTAs are coming up, and like the only thing we should wonder about is DeJuan Jones going to be healthy? You know, can the running game continue to progress a little bit? Can Jerry Jeudy get back to his form? We shouldn't have to worry again about who's going to be the starter, who's going to be the backup, who's going to be the third string. I mean, we talk more about who's going to be the third string quarterback in this city than every city combined in the NFL, maybe. I don't know. And it just seems like it's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of joy, right? Like, you're coming into an NFL season. It's supposed to be exciting. And we never quite get that. Our excitement is, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe a draft pick will hit and we'll end up with a 4 or 5 year all pro. And maybe we can build something around someone in this city and win 9 or 10 games and try to sneak into the playoffs and hopefully win a game again. Instead of, maybe we can get to the Super Bowl. Maybe we can win 12 games. Maybe we can win the division, right? Like that's completely out of the question here. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't feel like that coming into a season. So.
When was the last time that you remember this division being this open, Chad?
Never.
And we still can't do anything.
Never.
And this offense is rivalry of the 2017 Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, when we have to bring Deshaun Kaiser into the discussion, that's when we're in a nightmarish situation. No disrespect to Deshaun Kaiser, but that was a brutally nauseating season. And the fact that this team has been able to win 2 games, it should be 3. It should be 3. But due to the fact that this defense has been able to carry us to these couple of wins, it's just really showing you exactly how much our ineptitude on the offensive side of the football is just demoralizing this football team.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what exactly is going to be the first, second, or third step to getting this particular team right now back on the right page as far as getting some type of synchronicity, some type of consistency on offense instead of the consistent 3-and-outs or turnovers of the varied variety.
Yeah.
I
Or the
don't know.
7-play, 32-yard drives, like,
Yeah, that end with punts. Yeah,
yeah, we don't go anywhere.
getting to be a little bit too much.
Well, listen, to your point about the division being so wide open, in 2020, the Browns finished 11-5, and I believe in that season, TK, they finished third in this division. So, 11-5. Well, I mean, there's 17 games now, but 11 wins would probably do it this year. 11 wins, I think, wins the division this year. It's
We
pretty.
beat the division winner that year in their house.
Yeah, yeah.
That was our greatest year.
But still finished third. Still finished third in the division. So yeah, the AFC North doesn't open up this often, or like this anyway, that often. Well, the Browns, unfortunately, again, unable to take care of it. Listen, when we come back, we're going to take a quick 2-minute break here on the Inside Edge Network. And I forgot to mention, too, at the top of the show, we are brought to you by LPV Productions, as always. When we come back from a quick 2-minute break, we're going to be right back. We're going to go around the NFL. We're going to take a look at a lot of today's matchups and Sunday night. And that's today as well. But we'll look at the Monday night game that, thanks to corporate greed and YouTube TV and the Disney family of networks, I'm unable to watch. So thanks. Appreciate that. But again, we'll take a look at it. We'll preview it for you anyway. If you can watch it, that's good for you. If not, I suggest you switch over to a different streaming service or whatever. It's probably what I'm going to do here soon. Don't want to do that, but we have no choice. So again, we'll be back in 2 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network. Thanks for being with us. And remember, in the meantime, please like the show. Please retweet us. Let's get as many people watching as possible. Let's again, let us know your thoughts. If you want to go around the NFL with us, you can join us. You can join right along and tell us your picks as we're breaking down the games. So again, we'll be right back just in 2 minutes. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Inside Edge Network NFL pregame. The Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show with myself, and normally our Pookie Ryan Mosser is with us, but he's out today, so it's TK Dandridge and I today. We're steering the ship, so we appreciate you being with us. And again, Ryan, we're thinking of you, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's going well for you. Now it's honestly, this might be my favorite part of the show every week. It's kind of fun to take a little break from talking about what's going on here. We get to cruise around and a little segment that I don't know if I can find it here. Call around the NFL. So join us. Like I said, join us as we go around the NFL. You can, if you're watching, you feel free to comment, man. Give us your picks for each game. Any insight you may have, any tips, strategies, tricks for watching, or I don't want to say betting on the games, but if you've got something on the line, let us know. You know what I mean? If you got something, help us out a little bit. All right. So where do we want to start? Where do we want to start? Let's start with, why don't we go Giants at Bears? Why don't we start there? The Bears are a 4.5-point favorite at home. Listen, for the Giants, Cam Scatterboo's gone. So is their soul right now. I think Scatterboo was their heart and soul, man. Again, I said it on the show a couple weeks now. You could sort of just feel the air just deflate from their balloon, right? When he got hurt. First of all, it's a gruesome injury. It didn't look good. It looked terrible. I hope he can recover from that. And obviously, we're personally rooting for him. I think he's a great guy, fun to watch. But as far as this game goes, Giants at Bears again. The Bears are going to be a 4.5-point favorite at home. Over under in this one is 46.5 points. TK, you go first. What do you think?
Listen, I do see the New York Giants as one of those lowly teams in the NFL that still want to prove that they still have a spine. Granted, they have had a majority of their heart ripped straight from their anus due to the injuries to Malik Neighbors and Cameron Scatterboo. I do believe that this team has a newfound excitement to it. I think these guys are juiced up. I think they still have a lot of football left to play. Whether or not that leads them to a spot in the tournament, I don't think matters. I do believe that the New York Giants are going to come with it. That being said, this is a game that I expect the Chicago Bears to win. It is going to be a close game, but I do expect a little bit of Caleb Williams magic at the end of the game. I'm going to take the Chicago Bears 28-24.
Okay. You're right on the same page with me. Like I said, I think it's kind of moved on. I think they become a little bit one-dimensional. Running game isn't quite what it is with him in there. Caleb Williams magic. I like it. I was going to say Bears 30-24. So again, I think it's a close game. I think it comes down to last possession or two of the game. We'll see how it goes. Next one, let's go. I don't know, Bills at Dolphins. What do you think? We got Buffalo at Miami. Buffalo is going to be an 8.5-point favorite. TK, could this be a letdown game for the Bills? I mean, they beat the Chiefs last week, right? That's a big one. I'm not going to say they're overlooking the Dolphins because the Dolphins actually played them pretty tough a few weeks ago. Bills ended up winning that game 31-21. And I think the Bills understand they have some ground to make up in the division. They're a half a game behind the Patriots. Patriots are 7-2. Bills coming in at 6-2. So I don't know what we think. Buffalo at Miami.
I think the Buffalo Bills are starting to feel the sting in the air of their ways from the beginning of the season, especially with those two losses, especially at home against New England. That turnover-filled 3-point loss that just made everything look so strange. We were just wondering exactly what type of Buffalo Bills team this was. I do believe the Buffalo Bills do handle business. But yeah, like I was saying, you got to avenge those two losses early in the season. That Atlanta one may have been worse on Monday Night Football. But I just think the sting of the New England Patriots one, especially with their quick ascent back into contention. I mean, they look wonderful this year. But enough of me yapping about that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Buffalo Bills 31-21.
Okay, fair enough. I think the Bills are really good when they can run the football. Obviously, Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I mean, he's an MVP. He's just about as good as it gets at quarterback in the NFL. The Dolphins just feel like they've kind of, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say they've given up, but it just feels like they're one of those teams that's just sort of like, I could see them rolling over today. I think the Bills win big. I have 34-16. I don't think it's necessarily that close. Let's go to, I don't want to say an old friend of ours, but we know them well. They're the Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are going to be in Minnesota. They're playing the Vikings. Baltimore is a 4.5-point favorite on the road in this one. Over-under is 49.5. The Ravens, TK, they're kind of coming back to life a little bit, right? Lamar Jackson was in there after a hamstring injury last week for the first time. He throws 4 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry runs for over 100 yards. I think if they get production like that, they'll probably win today. But what do you think?
This is another game that I do expect to be very close. The Ravens are starting to come back to life. They had a brilliant Thursday night win over the Miami Dolphins, 28-6. But once again, we can't count out the Minnesota Vikings. J.J. McCarthy was looked to be somewhat of a bust through his first couple of games in the NFL. Had a somewhat big little performance, if you will say.
Medium.
The box score really didn't read too much, only 143 yards, but he did have 2 touchdown passes and ran in for one as the Minnesota Vikings went into Detroit and shot the Lions 27-24.
Yeah.
So this is another game that I do expect to be close. Give me the Vikings at home in a defensive struggle, 21-18.
Okay. I think the Ravens continue to move toward the path of figuring it out. I think the Ravens continue to move toward the path of winning this AFC North, even despite the terrible start. I think, with the Browns' struggles on offense, I mean, the Browns' defense is there, but with the Browns' struggles on offense, I think the Ravens are clearly the most talented team in this division right now. I think they win this one today, 31-23. I think they go into Minnesota and win this one. Okay. The Patriots, right? I kept saying on the show, I'm waiting for the Patriots to put it together. I'm waiting for they've won 6 in a row. The Patriots are putting it together, right? They've taken on the identity of their head coach, Mike Vrabel. They're tough. It's a perfect fit, really, for New England. The weather that we're coming into now, we're coming into winter weather, the snow, the nasty, sleet, and whatever you see at Foxborough, right? Well, the Patriots are at the Buccaneers. They're going to go to Tampa Bay today, and Tampa Bay is, they're the Baker boys, right? They're tough down there, but their offensive, basically their whole offense is. They're out in this one, right? They don't have Mike Evans. They don't have Chris Godwin. Running back Bucky Irving's out against the Patriots defense that we know is very, very good against the run. But the Buccaneers still, they're a 2.5-point favorite at home. I don't know. I'm not sure how. I think I know who I have in this one, but I want to hear who you have. Patriots at Buccaneers. What do you think?
Listen, forgive me if I sound like a broken record today, but this is another game that I expect to be extremely close. Yeah. I do believe that the Patriots are on the same level as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as far as being a complete football team. Mm-hmm. I do think that they have a top 10 quarterback in Drake May. I think he's been absolutely fantastic this year. He's been great with the football, especially in the fourth quarter. This is a game that I expect the New England Patriots to pull out at the end of the game. I do expect them to do – I expect this game to come down to coaching. This is a game that I'm going to expect to come down to coaching. I expect Mike Vrabel to do some type of thing that he's going to find a loophole in, and it's going to work to the Patriots' advantage, and they're going to do something great with it, and they're going to cement the win. This is just my gut feeling. This is a game that the Patriots can win. It's not going to be easy. Tampa Bay is still a very feisty bunch, even with all those injuries that you mentioned. Their offensive line has been in a shuffle all year long due to all the injuries, especially the big ones to Cody Mock and Luke Godecki. But at the same time, they have managed to keep themselves afloat, being number 1 in the NFC South. Carolina Panthers right behind them. But they have managed to keep the hold on that division for the better part of the season and, of course, right now. So I do think that this is a game that the Patriots are going to take out. This might be a low-scoring one, too. Give me a 24-21 Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Patriots get to 7 in a row. I think they go into Tampa Bay and handle their business. I'm really surprised that the Buccaneers are a favorite. Listen, Emeka Egbuka is out there again, but I mean, I know he's been maybe slowed by some leg stuff, but he's only got 117 receiving yards over his last 3 games. So I don't know that necessarily without Bucky Irving, I don't know that they're able to do a whole lot offensively. I think they're going to be pretty frustrated. I think the Patriots would. I think the Buccaneers are going to score. But yeah, Patriots win 27-20 is the score that I have in this one. Okay, let's go. What do we want to do? Let's go Saints at Panthers. Okay, Carolina 5.5-point favorite at home, despite a little bit of offensive struggle. They've got the 3rd least productive passing game in the NFL. They're just over 170 yards per game. Bryce Young's been kind of okay. He's 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rico Dowdle's been pretty good, but they got to be able to throw the ball, right? They can't just run the ball. Got to be able to throw it. Tyler Shuck is getting the start. Shuck is getting the start. Whoa, easy, not the shark. He's getting the start for the Saints. That took a turn real quick there. He was kind of so last week, right? First career start against the Rams, 15-24, 176 yards, touchdown, interception, whatever, right? Like, not terrible, not bad, not great, just kind of in the middle. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get it done, against the Panthers in this one. But what do you think, TK? Saints at Panthers?
Yeah, the Panthers are at home in this one. Give me the Panthers. The Saints have started their march to the number one overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. This is not a game that I expect to be a massive blowout by any stretch of the imagination because it's still a rivalry game to some degree.
Mhm.
But this is a game that I do expect the Carolina Panthers to win by at least 2 touchdowns. I'm going to go 27-13 Carolina.
Okay. Man, TK, we've been on the same page so much today. I have Carolina 27-7.
No, it's great.
I know. I wish we almost like we need an argument. We gotta we could do something to stir up some fun here, man. I'll tell you what, next game you pick, I'm going complete opposite. I don't care what I have down here, I'm going complete opposite. Whatever it is, that's it. Opposite. Well, let's go to Houston then. We're gonna go Jaguars at Texans. CJ Stroud's out for the Texans, right? He's in the concussion protocol. Davis Mills is in. He's going to be the starter. He's a capable starter. He's a good quarterback. He's a decent NFL backup. Yeah, right. Listen, Trevor Lawrence is struggling, man. 32nd of 33 qualifying quarterbacks in completion percentage. I think he's just under 60, 59.7% for his completion percentage. Brian Thomas Jr. is out, and Houston might have the best defense in the league. Really, you look at the numbers, they might really have the best overall defense right now. So I think if Davis Mills can effectively manage the game, Houston should be pretty good in this one. But is that going to be enough to beat the Jaguars? Houston's a 1.5-point favorite still at home with Davis Mills. That tells you what you need to know about Mills at quarterback. What do you think, Jaguars at Texans?
I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and take the Jacksonville Jaguars today. While I do love Houston's defense, I absolutely adore their defense. I think they're wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that the Jaguars have just a little bit more. I do expect Trevor Lawrence to play a little bit better today. That running game in Jacksonville is still decent with Travis Etienne and Michelle Tilden. I just, for some reason, I just think the Jaguars can pull this one out. I don't expect Davis Mills to do too much. I don't really expect him to turn the ball over or put the ball in harm's way. But I just think Jacksonville will just have that little bit more that they're going to need at the end of the game to be able to pull this one out. Could be another close one.
Okay. You got a score on this one or no?
I'm going to go 21-17 Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is starting to realize that, hey, we have an opportunity to possibly get a key playoff spot this year. This could speed up our rebuild and give us some solidification in our process going forward. But at the same time, Houston could very well sneak up and take them. But I do believe Jacksonville gets that done. This is kind of a trap game for them somewhat, especially with CJ Stroud being out. But I think the Jaguars can do it.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't have to manufacture the disagreement. I have almost the same score. I have 24-17, but I have Houston winning this one at home. I think Davis Mills does enough. I think, like you said, he's not going to do a ton. He's not going to throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. But I think he can manage the game effectively. I think he's going to do a good enough job of keeping the ball away from the Jaguars. A little bit of ball control at the time of possession. Run the clock, whatever. Hold on to the football. Keep the Jaguars offense off the field. I think they win this one 24-17. The Texans, that is. So the first time we disagreed. I mean, really almost on score and team. That was wild. Going through a stretch there. All right. Now, listen, speaking of our old friend Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. Speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's always on our mind as Buckeye fans, right? Cardinals at Seahawks. Listen, Seattle's defense has also been very, very good, like the Texans, right? It's kind of, I think these two are one of these two teams had the best overall defense. The Browns could be there, but their offense completely lets them down. So they spend too much time on the field. So the numbers just really don't show it. Anyway, the Seahawks are a 7.5-point favorite at home. 44.5 is the over/under in this one. I don't know. Before I say too much, what do you think? Cardinals at Seahawks.
I'm going to go ahead and go Seattle on this one. I just love the way that Sam Darnold has resurrected his career from being the third overall pick in the 2018 draft by the New York Jets. Been a rocky start to his career. I'm just so glad that he's found his footing. He's perfect fill-in for Geno Smith going forward for this football team. I think the fact that they signed him for 3 years and $100 million was an absolute steal, especially in today's market. He's clearly the every bit that quarterback that they need. Not to mention they have a balanced run game. Their offensive line is young and continues to get better. Still got a way to go, but they're not nearly as bad as they were last year. I think the cohesion there is much better. The Cardinals have been playing better with Jacoby Brissett under center. They have been a tough team all year. They do have solid defense. But this is a game that I expect Seattle to win, especially being at home. We all remember the thriller on Thursday night, especially with the legendary Jersey matchup that game brought to us that night. I expect it to be much of the same with another Seahawks win.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, like I said, Seattle's defense has been very, very good. Jacoby Brissett has been capable as the starter in Arizona. I think he's been very good actually. For a backup, he's been great. But listen to this. This is a weird stat. Okay, the Cardinals are going to have to play outdoors in this one, right? This is only their second time playing outside all season, TK. And all in all, they lead the league with 13 indoor games on the schedule. Is that wild? I think that's wild.
It kind of is, because I don't know why I thought the University of Phoenix Stadium had a retractable roof.
Yeah, well, apparently they don't open it very often. So this is the second time they're playing outdoors. They got to go out in the elements. And we talked about, I don't know, I've been reading about Seattle. It's supposedly one end of the stadium is a lot windier than the other. I don't know if it's an open air type of situation or what's going on there, why that happens. But special teams can be a concern, a whole lot of weird stuff. But the Cardinals did a pretty good job of getting to Sam Darnold during their last matchup. They sacked him 3 times. No one sacked him more than that in any game this year. So the Cardinals got to him. They're going to have to try to get to him again today. If they can do that, they might be able to have a shot. But listen, the Seahawks defense is good. They've got 27 sacks of their own. I think if they continue that trend, they're third in the NFL in quarterback sacks. If they continue that trend today, they kind of roll, and I think they will. I think Seattle wins this one. I've got 30-14 for the Seahawks. I think the Cardinals are Brissett will lead them to a couple scores, but I think I think the Seahawks could win big in this one. It's my gut feeling. Let's go Rams at Niners. The Rams are a 5.5-point favorite at home. The Niners are probably the most injured team in the league. They've just got so many key players. I have so many guys at key positions that are down right now. But they keep finding a way to compete and stay in games, and they're winning a few games here and there, despite all that. So what do you think? Rams at 49ers. Again, Rams are a 5.5-point favorite on the road. Over-under on this one's about 50, 49.5 points.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Los Angeles Rams. Yet again, another team that I think is settling into their own. They know what's at stake. They know exactly what it is that they want to do. They want to get to the tournament. They want to compete for Super Bowl. This is a game that I expect them to win. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams, 27-20 in this one.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I mean, Nick Bosa's out, right? Fred Warner's he's out. The wide receiver Ricky Pearsall's gone. Brock Purdy was listed as questionable with a toe injury. I'm not sure who's going to go at quarterback. I haven't seen. I didn't look this morning. Puka Nacua is in there for the Rams, right? He will play for the Rams. All in all, that's bad news for the Niners. I think the Rams, I have 34-24. I think the Rams win this one. What else we got? We've got the last game before we get to prime time stuff. Lions at Commanders. The Commanders are kind of a mess. Man, thank goodness Jalen Daniels seems to have escaped serious injury, because that, I'm sure you saw that play. That looked nasty. I don't. You don't see many guys' arms look like that and not end up with like season-ending surgery. So thank goodness he's okay, but he's out. He's not playing today. Detroit's an 8.5-point favorite on the road in this one. Over-unders 49.5 points. Boy, there's a lot of over-unders of 49.5 points for today, right? That's weird. I don't know if it's a weather thing or what we're doing there, but what do you got? Detroit at Washington. Again, Detroit's an 8.5-point favorite on the road. What do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and take Detroit in this one. They are really decimated, especially at the very most important position in all sports. Marcus Mariota is going to come in and give a valiant effort, take care of the football, and try to move football as best as he can. But I do think Detroit's defense tightens up this week and moves to 6-3 in the NFC North. They do need this one desperately after an embarrassing home loss to the Minnesota Vikings. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions in this one.
Okay. They got to protect Jared Goff better, not Jared Goff. Who's that? They got to protect Goff better. Words are really difficult sometimes, TK. But they've got to do a better job of keeping him upright. He was sacked 5 times in that Vikings game. And I mean, if you look at a reason that, you lose a game in an embarrassing way, when you get your quarterback sacked 5 times in the NFL, it's tough, right? At least it wasn't by one guy. And it wasn't Myles Garrett sacking the quarterback 5 times, but they couldn't even win that game. So it didn't matter. The Commanders do a decent job of running the ball. They've got 7th-round pick, rookie Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt that's doing a pretty good job. I mean, for a 7th-round pick, right? Guy came out of nowhere. I feel like running backs can do that sometimes, though. That's a thing for running backs.
He's good.
What's that? Yeah,
absolutely. He's good.
Absolutely. Yep. But Marcus Mariota is going to be in there for the Commanders, and I think a thing that he does a good job of getting the ball out pretty quickly, right? And he's not the running quarterback that he was at Oregon. I mean, obviously it's been a few years, but he still does a pretty good job of avoiding pressure. And again, he's a guy that does a good job of creating throwing lanes and throwing angles for himself. And he does a pretty nice job of just being mobile enough in the pocket to be effective and to get the ball out quickly, not to hold on to it and get swarmed under. Listen, I don't know though. Dan Campbell comes into this one. He's 44-31-1 with the Lions. I think he gets, or is he 41-31-1? Whatever. I think they win. I think the Lions win this one. That's 30-23. I think it's going to be a pretty close one. I think Washington can keep it close with the running game. I don't know which Lions team you're going to get, but I think they do win this one 30-23. In the Sunday night game, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to go play the Chargers. They're going to play the LA Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers are a 2.5-point favorite at home against the Steelers. 44.5 is the over-under in this one. What do you think? Steelers, Chargers. What do you have in this one?
To be honest, this one left me really confused. This is another game that I expect to be really tight. This is one that can really go either way, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one. I would hope that, not necessarily hope, but I would hope that the Chargers would take some momentum from last week's win over the Titans as their time to step forward and make their advancement towards the tournament and to where they want to be. But I do think Pittsburgh's defense has gotten a little bit better. I do understand that we're not getting the particular production from TJ Watt that we're used to, but there are other players on that team that are making up for said production. Cam Moore still continues to be productive. Alex Highsmith is still solid despite battling for injury. We've had a very good year from Joey Porter Jr. I definitely expect the defense to travel and make some plays today. So go ahead and take Pittsburgh.
Okay. Listen, the Chargers, they lost tackle Joe Alt. He's having season-ending ankle surgery. That's a big blow for them. They're also down. They're both tackles are gone, right? Rashawn Slater's out as well. But they did pick up Trevor Penning, who's a former first-rounder from the Saints at the trade deadline, to come in and help with that, to help kind of shore up that offensive line a little bit. Steelers defense can be very good, but we sports hate them, and they stink like moldy cheese on a terrible Pittsburgh pizza. So I have the Chargers in this one. I have the Chargers winning this one 27-19. That's where I am on this one because, again, Pittsburgh stinks. How about that? So, again, I'm going to move on to the Monday night game that, once again, TK, thanks to corporate greed and money-grubbing corporations, really, that just can't see fit to take enough of our money. They need more of our money. Just more of everybody's money. More money. I can't watch the games Monday night. I'm not gonna be able to watch it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You can blame who you want. Is it YouTube TV? Is it Disney? Is it ESPN? Whatever. It doesn't matter. I can't watch the game. It's out for me. Won't be able to see it unless I go somewhere to watch it, which I probably won't. But the Tush Pushers, they're going to take on the Packers. Well, that again, maybe that took a turn. We'll just go Eagles at Packers. We want to be careful with that. We don't want to do that. For me, this is a game. Listen, this could go a long way toward deciding the 1 seed in the NFC for the playoffs, right? This is a big game. It's a big Monday night game.
Week overall, my brother.
Yeah, right.
A lot of really interesting matchups this week. This one we got going on right now is pretty exciting. We got the Berlin game on right now. The Colts are up 22-17 on the Falcons right now.
Yep. Yeah. I was just, I meant to give a score update. I'm glad you said that. Man, thanks for keeping me in line. I totally forgot. I even had in my notes, give a score update. And I didn't do it. So thanks, TK. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate
you. That's why I'm here, man. I got to help somehow.
hey, you help more than somehow. All right, it wouldn't be a show without you. It'd just be me talking to people, and I don't think we'd have as many people watching. And trust me, my wife would agree with that. Anyway, like I said, this game could go a long way toward deciding the 1 seed in the NFC. Eagles, Packers. Man, the Packers are a 1.5 point favorite at home. Over under in this one's 45.5 points, a little bit lower than some of the games we've talked about so far. What do you think? Eagles at Packers Monday night. Who you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb on this one and take the Green Bay Packers at home on Monday night. Yet again, these are very good NFL teams right here that are looking to solidify who they are and where they want to be in the second half of the season. I do think home field plays a huge advantage in this game. Granted, it being a Week 10 regular season game, I do expect the Green Bay Packers to put it all together and get another close game. Chad, I'm telling you, this very well could be the best week of games that we see this year. The NFL knew what they were doing with this one.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, listen, a lot of great matchups, a lot of close games, like you said, or at least I expect there to be a lot of close games.
Yeah, Week 10's pretty hot, man. Besides our matchup, but hopefully we win.
Well, that's all right. The two of the worst franchises in the league can bottom out and play each other, and you've got all these great matchups going on otherwise, right? And then the Titans are off, the Chiefs are off, so you've got like one of the best teams, one of the worst teams. They're off. Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Bengals are off too, and I believe I'm missing one. I'm missing the fourth team that's on a bye this week. I can't remember. It's whatever the other team is that we haven't talked about yet. That's them. So do the math. Listen, I think the Eagles can have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder in this game, right? We know Nick Sirianni likes to get a little bit fired up, and he jaws with the crowd a little bit. He's got kind of a propensity to open his mouth and to say some things you don't normally hear from a head coach, or at least that kind of like like I said, that kind of like chirping kind of behavior. Right? We don't see that from a lot of head coaches in the NFL. Well, Sirianni's a guy that kind of he lets he wears his emotions on his sleeve, right? You always kind of know what he's thinking. Remember, the Packers are the team that proposed to have the tush push banned in the offseason. So maybe look for the Eagles to use that as a little bit of motivation going into Green Bay. I don't know if they've been talking about it internally all week. I'm sure they've mentioned something about it, but it's like, hey, this is the team that whatever, right? Maybe that could be the thing that kind of pushes them, pushes them right over the edge. I think the Eagles win this one. I think they win it 27-20. I think they're actually going to go into Green Bay and win this game. So that is around the NFL. Those are all the matchups. And again, like you said, we got the game going on this morning right now in Berlin. That's what you said, 22-17 Colts.
Tight one, yeah. The Atlanta Falcons got the ball on the 19-yard line. Michael Penix just hit Kyle Pitts for a gain of 11, I think.
All right. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get you a score because TK is paying attention and I'm not. Appreciate you again. Listen, we're going to take a quick one more 2-minute break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about, maybe, I don't know. Are you disappointed with the Browns' lack of activity at the trade deadline? Were you okay with it? I mean, does it matter? Should they have tried to stack some assets like the Jets did? I mean, I think some people are feeling a little bit jealous of the Jets right now. And then we'll get into Browns and Jets keys to victory. And as always, we'll get to our score prediction. Again, just in 2 minutes, we'll be back right here on the Inside Edge Network. Thank you. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show. Again, we're brought to you by LPV Productions. We're back from a break, and I looked at my phone during the break, and I wish I hadn't. TK, I swiped down the notifications to see what I had, and there was a little funky little symbol. And I thought, what is that? That's a weird thing. It looks like a sun. So I scrolled down a little bit more, and it wasn't a sun. It was a snowflake, apparently. It said snow possible this evening, and it made me realize, I mean, we're into it. Like, it's November, right? It's November 9th. It's here we go. We're supposed to maybe get 2 to 6 inches of snow where I live. I don't know what they're calling for where you are. But I think the possibility arises now. I mean, at least we have, like, hopefully I love the prospect of having a Sunday snow game here in Cleveland. I think that's always fun. I would say a Thursday like that, but we don't have any primetime games. They don't play during the week. They just play on Sundays. I'm amazed that they're even playing at 4 at one of these weeks, but whatever. So I'm hoping to get a snow game at least. If we're going to have snow here, we might as well be able to watch the Browns play in it, right? Sounds like you agree with me there. All right. Let's. No, I just wanted. If we're gonna have to watch the Browns play, they're gonna be terrible, and it's gonna snow. We might as well get to watch both together, right? Let's watch the Browns
I'm
play.
hoping for an exciting game, but
yeah, whatever. We'll see.
It's probably gonna be a bittersweet win, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Just go ahead and win. Just win. Give us a little something.
Well, I don't know that I necessarily even would want to field phone calls if I worked in sports media in this city, like as far as like the radio talk shows go, right? Monday morning could be really, really tough if they lose to the Jets. But at the same time, like Double A said, do they really even want to win? I mean, don't you want to raise your draft capital as much as you can? But whatever. Let's not talk about that right now. Let's get to the trade deadline because the Jets did a ton. We talked about it. They have 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons. Unlikely to keep all those picks. Like I said, I imagine they'll probably package something together and go up and maybe try to get a higher pick, try to get a guy, maybe get a player. Who knows? But they've got 5 first-round picks to play with here over the next 2 seasons. So TK, and if you're watching again, if you're watching on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you're watching from, let us know. You can comment. I mean, let us know your thoughts on this. Are you disappointed with the Browns' lack of activity at the trade deadline, or do you think they did the right thing by standing pat? I mean, they trade JTS, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I can't say his name right now because, again, words are hard. Let's just call him JTS because I also said that Tyler Shuck was getting the shard earlier, and that wasn't great. But what did they get back? They traded a 7th-round pick away, and I think they got an above-ground swimming pool. I'm not sure what they got back for him, but whatever. That's about it. I mean, hey, big trade deadline for the Browns, right? So are you disappointed with their lack of activity, or do you think they did the right thing by not really moving anyone?
Really quick, hold that thought. I want to give a score update really quick. Tyler Algier just punched it in from a yard out to take the lead. Atlanta Falcons are currently up 23-22. I think they're going to go ahead and go for the 2-point. Yes, they are. They're bringing the offense back out, and I think they're going to go for 2. Back to your question, however, was I disappointed with the Browns' inactivity at the trade deadline? In a way, I was, but at the same time, I really didn't expect much out of them. When Andrew Berry made the statement that they were going to be more so buyers than sellers at the trade deadline, it sounded just like some more dog shit, crappy analysis that just didn't need to be paid attention to. So I just took it for what it was. This is just more crap. So I really don't expect much to happen. They do get the 2-point conversion to the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix hit Drake London in the corner. Yeah, he sauced up Sauce Gardner for that 2-point. That was a smooth move to the outside. And the Falcons are 25-22. But yet again, with the trade deadline, of course I was disappointed. But at the same time, we got to keep guys that we love in David Njoku and Wyatt Teller, guys that I fully expected to be gone at the deadline. I thought Jackie Conklin would be moved. Jerome Ford was a guy that I expected to be
Mhm.
moved.
I think Ford wanted to be moved. Didn't he say as much? I thought he said before the deadline he would prefer to
I
be moved.
definitely
Yeah.
thought he was going to be on his way out the door, maybe to San Diego, maybe to the Commanders, possibly.
Okay.
I definitely thought DeMonte Casey would be a trade candidate. He hasn't played much this year. They actually ended up releasing him earlier last week.
Yeah.
So am I disappointed? Yeah, but to be quite honest, we may not have gotten that much for these guys.
Mhm.
Now comes the point where we think, do we want to bring back Chief for another 4 years? It may be in question, but yet again, this is something that we're going to have to figure out in the offseason. So
Yeah.
again, just raises a few more questions. Granted, like I said, I am happy to see David and Joku and Wyatt Teller back in Orange and Brown. But it begs the question, where do we go from here?
Yeah. Like you said, good to see Njoku back. I like the player. I like the person. He seems like a great guy. Seems like a lot of fun to be around. But I also sort of like, maybe some of the assets that he could have brought back in a trade. And I just don't know. I mean, with Harold Finn and Jr., I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to have two pretty good tight ends, but I don't know. They don't really complement each other as well as you'd like either. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I guess to answer my own question, I was a little disappointed in the lack of activity. I thought the Browns would try to stack something. I know they've got the 2 first-round picks or whatever, but as the Jaguars win more and more games, that pick goes down further. It goes further down the draft board, and as the Browns get to these games where, I mean, they seemingly should be able to win today against the Jets. So as they win more games, that pick goes further and further down the draft board. And it's just like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I was a little disappointed. I thought some guys would get moved, but I really didn't expect them to move anyone that would bring back a first round pick either. So, we talked about the Myles Garrett haul that they might be able to get from different teams. I didn't expect to see Myles Garrett go anywhere realistically. It's fun to talk about in a Madden type of sense. It's like, wow, what could we really get for a guy like this? But then, you're always going to be known as the regime that traded away Myles Garrett, and that's it. Which I think you'd rather be known as the regime who maybe wasted a guy like Joe Thomas or Myles Garrett's career trying to build something rather than just giving up and saying, get out of here.
As painful as that does sound, and we've had this conversation before, wasting Joe Thomas's career.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to be able to have a Hall of Fame caliber player on your roster for that long, who didn't complain to the media, loved every second of his time as a Cleveland Brown. I remember famously former Baltimore Ravens and Detroit Lions guard Edwin Mortallo had missed the photo shoot for the 2008 Detroit Lions. And he said that he was very happy to have missed that day because, of course, that was the team that went 0-16. So no one remembers him being on that team, despite him being on the roster that year. But Joe Thomas wore that cap loudly and proudly, and he was one of us while being his very, very self at the same time. And Myles Garrett has done that for the majority of the time that he's been here. Of course, we have our rough patches here and there, but he is still a member of our team, and hopefully we can make something come to fruition and do something great here while he is still here. So.
Yeah, I think any good relationship is going to have some rough patches. When you've been together this long as a player in a franchise, organization, whatever you want to say, I think you're going to see that. But yeah, Joe Thomas never really seemed to have that. And I always remember Joe Thomas as the guy who elected to go fishing on the day of the draft rather than, have the big, camera set up at his home or go sit in the green room or whatever, even though he knew he was going to be a top pick. I'll remember him as the guy who went fishing on the day of the draft, just really living his life and doing what he loved. I thought that was pretty cool.
Going to be a good player.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get to it. It's time to let's talk about our Browns' keys to victory because, again, I think this is a very, very winnable game. The Jets roster is decimated, right? Thanks to trades and just thanks to not being a very good roster to begin with. I think this is a winnable game for the Browns. The only thing that scares me is like the Browns have a ferocious pass rush, right? We're going to be looking at Justin Fields in this one. We assume, right? It's not Tyrod Taylor. It's Justin Fields playing today, right?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I actually didn't check that in the morning before the game either. I know that the Jets sometimes don't like to announce their starting quarterbacks until late in the week, so I just hadn't looked. To be honest with you, I've been busy. But the one thing that scares me is, Fields has the ability to run. I know the Jets have a pretty strong defense. Is Carson Schwarzenegger out there? Is he going to try to play today or no?
I'd be surprised if he goes out there. We all knew of the severity of that ankle sprain, and he was set to be out for at least a month. So for him to come back this soon would be wild. But I'm not really sure if he's going to play today.
Yeah, he had mentioned he might try. No one would blame him for sitting down for a 2-16.
Right,
but yeah,
right,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, the mental and physical toughness to go out there and even think about trying to play.
Oh,
I think you respect that. That's in the mold of a Joe Thomas type of guy, right? So yeah, I don't know. This is a winnable game for the Browns. I think it's sometimes you go back and forth. Do you really want them to win? I know we don't like to talk about tanking, but draft picks are nice, and the Jets have a bunch of them stacked. It'd be cool to whatever. It doesn't matter. So what are your Browns' keys to it? What do they have to do to beat the Jets today?
Okay, well, first and foremost, I do believe getting Quinshon Judkins back on track has to be one of the key components to this game.
Yeah.
Only 19 yards against the New England Patriots, one of the most stingy defenses in the NFL. Yeah. The New York Jets do have a decent young defense, but especially with all the renovations that have happened over the trade deadline for that team, I don't really expect too much. So definitely getting Quinshon Judkins back on track. The second key is I really want to see more of the intermediate game get worked. We can't have 45 pass attempts and 38 of them are within 5 yards. We can't have that. We've got to work the ball down the field somehow. As bad as this offensive line has been, it has not been that terrible to where we cannot push the ball at least 15 to 20 yards down the field every other play. We should not have 30 to 35 checkdowns a game if we really expect to move the football. We are not the New England Patriots of the 2000s or the 2010s. We do not have the personnel to do that.
No, or the Rich Gannon Raiders, right? There's the dink and dunk. Yeah.
We don't have that. So gotta get that offense on track. And I think the big one is don't fall for the bait. Whether or not we are a playoff team or not, this is somewhat of a trap game. This is a team that has told the world that, hey, our focus right now is the 2026 NFL draft. We are not that interested in playing football. So you've got to be serious. If you still think this season has somewhat of a chance of being salvaged, this is a game that you win outright.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes a team in a situation like the Jets are in, it can really upend the morale in the locker room, or it can kind of like, hey, listen, the 53 guys that are still there, they're there together now. I think it can really kind of help gel them together a little bit, right? They're like, you get that kind of like, okay, well, it's us against the world. Like, you want to give up on us? Like, let's go show you we still got something, right? Let's go beat that. I know it's the Browns. It's not like playing, not their Super Bowl or anything. But again, they have to look at this as a winnable game for them, right? I think the Browns, the biggest keys today, they have to make no mistakes. They can't make mistakes against the Jets. I was starting to allude to it a little bit with Justin Fields. If the Browns, sometimes they tend to overrush, right? They tend to come too aggressively after the quarterback. If you do that to Justin Fields, he can make it hurt a little bit, right? He can take off. He's got the legs to do it. I'm not saying that's the key to the victory for the Jets. I don't think they want Justin Fields running the ball 15, 20 times for 120 yards or whatever. But Fields can definitely do that if you come after him too hard and you don't kind of create a pocket around him and kind of collapse it down. Where is Jerry Jeudy, right? We got to find Jerry Jeudy. We have to get him involved in the game plan. He has to make some catches. We've got to get the ball to him on time within the offense, right? And I think Tommy Rees just needs to call a good, balanced, productive offense. Whether it's Kevin Stefanski's offense, Tommy Rees' offense, which I can't imagine they put in 1 week. Some amalgamation of, I'm sure they've been working on some things with Tommy Rees. Maybe
put an entire offense in a week.
Well, those are the people that are like, hey, well, I understand if Michigan State, just change your hand signals. Just change your signals if they stole this. You can't do that. You can't change it in 1 week, right? You can't do that.
Right. Very true.
Right. So I think what they probably have is
Kevin Stefanski needs to be fired yesterday.
That's fair. That's fair enough. But yeah, I think Tommy Rees probably has I'm sure there are things from this Browns offense that we haven't seen. I'm sure there are simplistic type of things that they can wrinkles to their current offense that they can put in that Tommy Rees can. Like I said, supposedly I've heard some rumblings that we may see more of a college type of feel to the play calling today, which I think could benefit Dylan Gabriel. I mean, where did he have all his success? He had a ton of success in college, right? Granted, you're playing against NFL players now, but I think he can still go out there and run a college type of offense and maybe feel a little more comfortable. Maybe that gives him the confidence to kind of push him over the edge and, be comfortable throwing the ball on time downfield. And finding a guy like Jerry Jeudy doesn't have to be a 60-yard bomb. I don't think he's got that in him. But like you said, the intermediate routes, it can't be a bunch of, screens and throws to the flats and a bunch of slants or whatever. I can't watch another game like that. So,
Right.
And it's not going to work. It's like, my God, even against the passing game, you put 8 guys in the box and you've got it covered. It's ridiculous. So let's move to the Jets. The Jets, a lot of people don't expect them to win another game this year, but what are their keys to victory? How do they beat the Browns today, TK?
Quick score update. Michael Badgley just bagged in a 46-yard field goal to tie the game at 25.
Are we going to overtime?
Still with the ball. I think so. Falcons are still with the ball. 9 seconds left in the game. It's 3rd and 10. JT Tuamulau forced an incompletion on 2nd down. So there's that. Right. Okay, for the Jets' keys to victory.
Free German football, by the way. Sorry.
Right. Right. Keys to victory for the New York Jets. This should be a Breece Hall legacy game. I definitely think this is a game where you use him. If you don't get the production in the run game, you could definitely use him in the receiving game as well. Try to get Garrett Wilson involved as much as possible. I do expect a very tight matchup. Of course, he's going to be the one that takes the brunt of the snaps from Denzel Ward in matchups. But I do expect this to be a decent game for Breece Hall. Secondly, I want that offensive line to continue to overachieve. For the past couple of weeks, the New York Jets have started to itch their way towards that top half of the NFL as far as their offensive line unit goes. I've talked about their 2 tackles that they have, Olamuyiwa Fashanu and Armand Mimbu. They have been absolutely excellent this year. I've seen a very improved play from Joey Tippmann filling in that right guard spot for the once again injured Elijah Vera Tucker. He was one of my favorite players coming out of the draft, one of my favorite players in the NFL. The young man just could not seem to stay healthy. But Joe Tippmann has played very well this year. Josh Myers and John Sampson, a little bit of an underachieving season for both of those guys, but they have been solid enough as starters for the New York Jets. It is a very decent unit. I expect them to come with a valiant effort to try to stop one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Granted, what our record may say, I definitely think we still have one of the nastiest defensive line rotations in the NFL, even with the trade of Joe Tryon Shoyinka. So I expect their offensive line to come fight. And third and most importantly, show that you still have heart. I do understand the direction that you guys are going in. We all know that you guys are looking forward to the 2026 NFL draft. We're not going to go too far to 2027 just yet, but we're going to just say, hey, look, we're not going to make it that obvious that we're tanking. We're going to give you a little bit of what we have. We may not have the best personnel right now, but just go out there and show that you have us fine. Make it a bit interesting.
That'd be great, right? I think the Jets are going to have to be. I think if I were on the defensive coaching staff for the Jets, I'd be a little bit nervous in this one because you don't really. I think we can expect more of the same from the Browns, but you never know, right? I think you have to be ready for the unexpected today. You don't know what the play calling is going to look like. You don't know what the tendencies are going to look like from Tommy Rees. I mean, you can go back and watch college tape, but it doesn't matter. You didn't have the same type of personnel, So I think it's going to be. I thought, by the way, Kevin Stefanski made a comment this week in one of the press conferences that, does Tommy Rees have enough play calling experience? He's like, well, if you've played Madden, you've called plays, right? I just thought that was like way oversimplified. It just way oversimplified things, right? And it was like it reminded me of why Kevin Stefanski needs to be fired. Like he's going on. I think he's going on to I think he's going on to Madden, onto the PS5, and just making up the Browns offense as he goes. So whatever. He's like, I spammed this play last night. It worked. It's the little check down for 3 yards. I think they have to stop Quinshon Judkins. I think Judkins could have a big day today. I think that if the Jets want to win, they're going to have to keep not necessarily the ball out of his hands, because you can't do that. But I think they're going to have to, hit him early. They're going to have to get penetration. The defensive line is going to have to be good, even without Quentin Williams. They're going to have to get in and hit Judkins early and try to, to get him down before he gets going, because once he gets ahead of steam, he's a tough guy to stop, man. He always falls forward, seems to get to the edge really well. If they let him do that against them today and run for 120, 130 yards, I think that seals it for the Browns. I think they'll win it for sure. But then there's the other X factor. I think you just kind of, if you're the Jets, you have to let Dylan Gabriel make his mistakes, right? Like, there are times when Gabriel just throws the ball blindly to a spot, because that's what the play calls for. You've seen it. You watch the games and you can. It's not on a billboard that he's doing that, but you can see that that's the case. I think they just have to let him make his mistakes, and I think they have to be ready to take advantage of them. I think that's the biggest thing. Again, without Sauce Gardner, they've still got some pretty good young defenders. They've got some young corners that could be, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, we're going to see without Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams. So I think the Jets, that's it. I mean, they really just have to be ready for the unexpected. Try to slow down Quinshon Judkins, and again, just let Dylan Gabriel make his mistakes and be ready and be there and be, I guess, opportunistic a little bit to take advantage of those mistakes like the Patriots were. Well, that leaves just one thing for us. We got to get a score prediction in before we let you guys go and check your official Commissioner's Couch fantasy lineups. We're brought to you by the Commissioner's Couch. But no, we know you guys want to check your fantasy lineups. You probably want to go watch the end of this Berlin game. I mean, this is crazy, right? 25-25. Are they headed into overtime? Is it officially in overtime now?
Yeah, they're going overtime.
Let's give us a quick score prediction and get people out of here so they can watch the end of that game, and then they'll catch the Browns Jets kickoff here soon today.
Boy, let's go Cleveland 24, New York Jets 17.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Browns actually go in, and I think they get the win today. I hope, and I don't hope, because again, you want the draft, you want that draft number to be as small as possible, but whatever. I think the Browns have to win this game, or else I think it just, I don't know. I think it just, there's the possibility of a really dark cloud around this franchise if they can't go in there and beat the Jets after the Jets have just jettisoned their whole roster off to everybody. I think the Browns actually win today 23-10. I think they score over 20 points. More of a byproduct of, the Jets maybe inability to really move the ball and do much, as opposed to the offense like lighting it up under Tommy Rees. But you never know. We'll see it, right? I mean, we're going to see what happens. So I think the Browns win 23-10. I think they beat the Jets. They move to 3-6. I don't know what that does for them as far as, moral victories or, whatever on the season, but it's a win if they get it right. It's a W. So you always take a W. But that's pretty much it for us today. We want to thank you guys. We have 100 people watching. We appreciate you watching the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns, and NFL pregame show. And I did want to say just a quick word before we get out of here. Tough situation for the Cowboys earlier this week, man, and their former defensive end, Marshawn Nealand. Just want to say rest in peace to him. Really tough situation. I'm not going to get into the details of it. It's out there. You've read it by now. You know what happened. And again, you would think that that's someone just, had scored a touchdown in a game last Sunday. You think that's someone on top of the world. And you always say, well, people don't have a reason to be this or that or whatever. Mental health is tough, man. It's when it hits, and when you're struggling with your mental health, it can be, it's debilitating. You see it. Obviously ended really sadly for Marshawn and for his family. Our prayers go out to his family, his friends, the Cowboys. That's tough to lose a guy out of your locker room that way. Really, really tough situation. So again, rest in peace. And listen, I've said it before on the show. If you're struggling, please talk to someone, call someone, find a mental health professional. Even if it's just, maybe catching up with an old buddy from whatever it is, just get it off your chest, man. Sometimes it can just, it's not the end all be all, but sometimes it can feel better just talking about it with someone. And like I said, just getting it off your mind, getting it off your chest, opening up to someone, find someone that you're comfortable talking to. Just please, don't go through it alone. There are multiple resources out there. You can get help. it's just not worth trying to shoulder it on your own, trying to be the tough guy or whatever it is. It can go south really quickly. So again, rest in peace, Marshawn Nealand. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends and everyone involved in that situation. That was a very sad situation. But again, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll be right back next week on the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland Browns and NFL pregame show. We're brought to you by LTV Productions. As always, I want to thank Double A, Anthony Alford, our producer, for giving us his take on the Paul DePodesta situation today. And like I said, most importantly, we want to thank you guys. Please remember, go follow us on Twitter. If you're watching, hit the follow button right now. Just follow us. Always, follow us on YouTube, wherever you're watching. Give us a follow. That way you can be notified when we go live. And you can be here with us from the very beginning of the show every week. But again, guys, we appreciate you watching. Have a good Sunday. Go Browns.